All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:30. It is January 9th. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. So you can tell a little funny story. So right around December 20th or so, you know, I like to be actively bullish. You know, when we're above the 8 and 21 day, I like to have 10, 15, 20 stocks on. So, you know, on the Alpha team, you know, we like to have fun. So Joey B from the Alpha team, he sent me a little present. You know, he's like Red Dog. He's like, you're like Red Dog Ives, because at the time, you know, I thought, you know, some of these things were making higher highs, and so he sent to me. So I said, I will wear it if two things or one thing happens: that finally we get a move in Nvidia, you know, above 502 to 506, or you know, Apple closes over 200. Well, Cupertino's not winning right now. Thank goodness it actually bounced off the 200 day, but Nvidia had a nice move, so we made some money. So I said I'd wear it for him, even though it's a little big. I gotta take it in. So anyway, it's good to have some fun out there. Hopefully, you guys you know, participated yesterday. You had a tough start to the year. If you thought new flows were going to come in, you know, I did, you know, position for that, and it didn't really work out so well. But then I readjusted, and then thank goodness thought clear enough that you know, coming in yesterday I had a few longs because Friday things perked up, and then yesterday, boom, market didn't remember that we tried some of these things in anticipation of it. Now today, everyone's like, Red Dog, is it a trap? Well, you know, the futures are down 18, 19, but we're up 80 yesterday. The SPYs are up down 2. They were up 8. So if you use your retracement rules, you know, we'll see if this morning's weakness can get absorbed. Yes, if we get back over half of yesterday in the indices, that'll be a pain in the you-know-what. But, you know, sometimes you get a little bit of a down open, this isn't too bad. You know, you can then you know, buy more and massage your position, use your tier system. That's why I say you could sell into strength. You want to be able to buy spots, you know, and then sell into strength. So when you come back down, you can test those spots. So we'll see what's happening. Hold on one second. I still need to log in so I can put some of those level 2s up for you, and so I can show you where things are at this morning. Some people are like, hey, Red Dog, why do you do things at 6:30 a.m.? Why are you up at 4:30? I'm like, because I like to see what happened overnight. I like to see where the futures are. I like to see where stocks are trading before I give you guys some thoughts, because I want to make it as real time and as relevant as possible. So as of right now, let's see what's going on here. All right, SPYs. Oh, not the end of the world. SPYs are down $1.74, right? So down $1.74 at 472.86. Halfway of this candle is you know, still above that. So this was a huge candle yesterday. You know, Europe didn't really follow us. You know, Asia still is like bleh. You know, so they had to give a little bit back. Yes, Nvidia can't be the only thing, and obviously, you know, seeing a leader like that igniting go and give you a few trades throughout the course of the day breeds a little confidence that some things could trade well. But you know, no one really followed us to show us that this market's in a rush to, hey Alexa, off, where you could be like cajones to the wall. So I would think that this little spot holds. You know, it'd be nice if all of a sudden, you know, right halfway through, you know, somewhere around here, I could do my cute retracements. But I would just say, you know, giving you my simple version, because Red Dog's a simple man. You know, I'm not sitting here, not on a set of a major place. I'm sitting in the dark in Short Hills, and you know, I've been there already. I've gotten, you know, networks, you know, every single week, 3-4 times a week, and this and that. And you know, this is my little network right now. I don't have a teleprompter. I don't have producers. I have Mikey, my best friend. We did a little show together. But anyway, we'll see if you could hold here, go sideways, and show some commitment to this move. You know, Q's led the way yesterday. If you remember yesterday, we were talking, you know, saying, wow, look at that. Jeffries came out and downgraded Apple, the third downgrade. But you know what? It's up this time. What does that mean? Could be washed out. And it was washed out, and it had to move. So anyway, Q's had a big move. Look at the size of it, to a high of 405.24 right before this gap. So same thought, every day has a different thought. The question is, will we hold in here? This is 401. The 8 day is like 402. So again, simplify it. If we could hold 401, 402 and show some commitment to yesterday's move to 405 plus, that would make the process a little bit better. If we just give up more than half, then yesterday was a little bit too much. Well, these are just the thoughts. So let's see the Qs. So the Qs are down 2. Qs right now are 402.88. So you don't want to buy a dip too early, just in case you're 15-20 minutes early, and then all of a sudden you're taking too much pain because you have too much size, and then you have to hit it out, and then at 11:30 the buyback machines come back, and you're like, oh. Well, anyway, so this would be a decent area to hold. The small caps kind of caught up. They caught up a little bit later. They weren't really the place to be, but it's good to see it's hanging out in here. They're probably down a little bit more. The action was in the semis and tech. The IWM is down 2. It's already below this little area. So this is not the place. It was a place in November, December, but right now it's got to prove. And I think you have to wait until the CPI on Thursday. So if we could pull in a little bit here and hang out, maybe there'll be a nice little option play into the CPI on Thursday. It's good when not everything's happening at the same time, so you can focus, make money, move around, and have other things to do. So obviously yesterday Nvidia was the jam. Me and Mikey went over this on Friday. Some people yelling at me like, "Why are you still looking at Nvidia? Why are you such a bull?" I'm like, I'm not always a bull. I'm like, it was acting the best, and if something was going to ignite, it was Nvidia. Nvidia, we got long it on Friday. Yesterday, I'm like, you gotta, you have lots of different ways. If Nvidia is going to 520, it's got to get above 499, 504, 505. It's a simple man version of it. And anyway, I went to 522. I had stock. I still have some stock. I had 2 different sets of options. That the 510s you could have bought. I think I bought them at $4. By the time I sold the rest of them towards the end of the day, they were 14. That was nice. And then I also midday when it was hanging out here. Remember we were talking about how even at a midday move. For those of you who trade cash flow, I used to do this back in the day a lot when I was a little boy. No, I'm kidding. I've been doing this for 25 years, but sometimes back in the day when you couldn't take overnights and be a portfolio approach, I have an active account, a swing account, an option account, a box account. You would say, hey, you want to have a big move, let it go sideways and consolidate it, and then you get an afternoon move, which at 516 still gave you another move. That was like, we used to wish for this stuff back in the day where you get a big move, sideways action, continuation. Doesn't happen all the time. Thank goodness it happened yesterday. I'm not going to say it's going to happen every day, but usually there's some things out there that it happens with, and you could have made a lot of different cash flow. So right in here, I'm like, you know what? Let me buy the 520s. I don't even remember what they were, and I held them. And it's only Tuesday, and I have them for Friday. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how much of this holds. Nvidia's up a little bit. Let's minimize this. These are all little tools. Nvidia's up a whole 37 cents, so there's not a whole lot to do there for now. But it is up while the futures are lower. So anyway, and that's where the action was. So some people are like, hey, Red Dog, what could be next? Well, I would say my next biggest position now is Microsoft, but we'll see how it goes. Microchip, pre-announced, and that wasn't great for this, but it's not really so correlated. But bottom line is Microsoft was up a lot yesterday. I'd love to see it hold this 373-ish. I will even add to it, and then maybe there's a chance that at some point, markets show that they want to continue. It could get above this, get above that, get above that. What's yesterday's high? 375.20. Anyway, we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't go down $3, say in my mush. But at this point, Microsoft is down. What is Microsoft down? It's down $2. So it's kind of a pain in the culo. But actually, you know what? Sometimes what you do is you look at the chart from the prior day and say, hey, where did it break out from? Okay, towards the end of the day, which was really right around here, 372-ish. So, I would say as long as it holds this spot, there could be a decent opportunity here to buy the dip if you took some off into the close, however you do it. Some people might have added because they thought, we're going to have a gap up today, which I guess we were up a little bit too much yesterday. So we'll see. If all of a sudden it closes below 373 and negates this candle, then we're back to this choppy mess, which sometimes happens. Anyway, like remember that yesterday morning, I'm like Apple was up a bit yesterday. It's not leading, but as long as it's not a headwind, some tech could work. And yesterday, cleared this area, went as high as what 185.60. Had some room to test some of these moving averages, maybe even this gap. This morning Apple's not, Apple's only down 73 cents. Maybe Apple's worth a look to go red to green. What we shall see. Meta's definitely a leader. Meta looks like it's ready to take out this 361.90. So if you missed it yesterday, Meta's down $1.50. So with that being said, maybe Meta, which has nothing to do with microchip or some of those things, shows some leadership and some more buying comes back there. So anyway, that's that. Tesla didn't even trade yesterday. Tesla to me, yes, there was an opportunity yesterday. It wound up going late. It was back and forth, back and forth. Still lagging. It's lagging. Remember this red dog reversal here. It wound up giving you a 5-day down move. It held the 200-day. So it held the 200-day. Usually first time you get to the 200-day, you bounce off it. If you happen to break it, then it continues lower. This is down $2. It's worth a look, but again, I wouldn't stick around. Sometimes, in a down move, Tesla loves to go red to green. So if you trade it versus a level and then it goes green, just don't sit in it. Make your money and run. Hit and run, hit and run. As far as the financials, they're coming out with earnings on Friday. JP Morgan, wow. Look at that move above the 8-day moving average. This 8-day moving average to me is one of the best tools out there. When it's above it, you try and be long. When it's below it, you try and stay away. You look at the weekly chart. Wow, right back up to the highs here. Weekly chart, it's back to the highs, 173-ish. It's a little extended, so it better be good on Friday. Otherwise, usually JP Morgan's a noisy earnings day anyway. It's better to wait a few days, but at this point, it's kind of really priced for perfection. The weekly chart, this was your spot to buy it, and now, I guess it'll go a long way if it does take this out and shows that the banks, could continue. Then it'll probably be healthy for the, the broader indices. But remember the TV sets and everyone saying, can't be in the banks 2 years ago. Like you have to be in banks when rates are rising. And then I remember, I think it was here, hey, you have to be in the banks. And then here, got to be out of the banks. Oh, look at this red dog reversal on the weekly, right? What did it do? Gap below, prior low, came back above. That's a reversal. That's your action area. It's a nice red dog reversal, actually. I got to put that in one of my new lessons. But anyway, we'll see what happens here at 173-ish. I am not in any of the banks. So I'm not making it like I made all this money in the banks, but at least I wasn't shorting them. I pick and choose my spots. I'm a human. I am not a computer. But I do act kind of like a computer by my routine and my process. Last night, Michigan, congratulations. National champs. Don't be a Michigan hater because they're good. Don't be a hater of anyone because they work hard. Washington State has had a few chances and they didn't take advantage of them. And Michigan won. Congrats. It's been like, what, 27 plus years? So, those guys have probably been up since, they've been working. Those guys have been friggin' at it since they're 5 years old. Congratulations. Start early, work hard, and you too could be in a spot where you're feeling some glory in whatever glory means for you. Could be a good day in the market. It could be just, teaching your kids something, whatever glory is. It's good to feel it every now and then. It doesn't happen often. And, hopefully they enjoyed the process because sometimes you get there, you're like, all right, this was my goal. And they didn't just celebrate the process. You gotta like the process. I like my process. This morning I was in the ice barrel. It's freaking cold out there. I had my phone. I almost dropped it. I did a little video just because I said I was gonna do videos on the ice barrel this week, but I was in it this week. I was up past my bedtime last night. Still 4:45. Get up, and I wore my blazer. Anyway, it's a little big, but my fault. But thank you, Joey. I appreciate the love. Listen, having a community, having some laughs is what it's all about. Obviously, making money and making the right choices in the right situations help. But you got to think clearly to do so, and you got to love your day to day. Otherwise, you're gonna get stale. What else? Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin. Some people do you think they're gonna sell the news on, on what's it called? On the the ETF. Well, they kind of did that around here. Remember that first time above 45, Bitcoin loves to, they stopped out longs. I know actually they stopped out shorts when it finally got above here. And then this tail really happened here. If you had stops in, they got shot and then it rebuilt and went. And now it's still holding here. So, you don't see a coin really going or Mara really going, but they're in a spot. I'm actually a little bit down on Mara. I thought maybe, that if Bitcoin gets to, another high and gets frisky, that these things can continue. The Coinbase, the miners. I don't love these because fundamentally they're not great and they're crazy. But anyway, we'll see what happens in here. Maybe it can go. And lastly, everyone's just again all over the AI. That's what helped get Nvidia going. I did buy a little bit of this yesterday. It's not. I don't love it. I made a lot of money here in this stock. Back in a year or so ago, it's been just rebuilding. Nice little candle, wasn't very powerful, didn't borrow from today. So sometimes, if you're not up too much, and too much enthusiastic, it could still go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna maybe buy a little bit of a dip in it. If we can get above 28.70, you could see a bit of a move here. Let's see what's AI doing this morning. It's down 27 cents, not a big deal. But this is like a second, third tier trade. We probably shouldn't even be looking at second, third tier trades when the market's trying to prove that it could hold up and continue. But anyway, I have a bunch of little things going on. Can't all be Nvidia, but you don't have to be in a hell of a lot of the things. Be in some things that have the perfect setup. Otherwise, be patient. With that said, at 6:47, I have a lot to do. Let's hope that again. I hate to use hope. I'm not saying hope, but it would be nice to see some commitment versus some misdirection by holding this 471, 472 area in the spies to go sideways. Because if that happens, maybe you could build another little pattern in here, to then continue. I know Tom Lee was out saying how now we're not going to get 460. I was like, there was a potential here. If we could build a little bit of a right shoulder and then, maybe break this and see 460. He's saying we don't see that now. I'm saying we're going to go day by day and measure it and look at it. And he's got more conviction than I do. If we were not to hold this, upper end and it turns into choppiness, this still kind of could be a little bit of a head and shoulders top pattern with this neckline for that. But if it holds in here, chances are, your next move is higher. But we'll see how the leaders, act today. We'll see how the banks, do what they want to do post earnings on Friday and continue to keep moving the process along. Just remember to net money so you can get paid for a living. Remember, sacrifice today for the future, which means max out your 401k if you have one. Most traders don't have that. Most traders, you got to make your own, long-term savings. But if you happen to be watching me and you're a doctor, a lawyer, a policeman, a fireman, a teacher, max it out. In 30 years, it'll be a lot of money. And if you're young and you're not an old dog like me and you have a 1 or 2 year old, start that 529. I started it when Chase was 5 and I'm a little behind. So hopefully, the last few big drawdowns I started to add to it, to play some catch up. But I know it hurts. Sacrifice a little bit for the long term because markets could help you long term. And you could also make a living if you have a routine and process you love and could deal with the tough times because sometimes it's tough times. That's why I got to stay mentally tough. I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in.